In the upper right, in the red, defeating Nada in the first time they met and defeating him again in game number 1, we have
FXO Leenock.
in the bottom left, in the blue. Can he come back? Can the legend return? We'll see soon. His ideas.
Complexity Nada.
All right, they are very far apart, and this is probably going to make for a longer game.
Yep. You know, I want to see what Nada actually wants to open with here. It looks like he just wants to go Reactor to Hellions again. This map, I don't like Reactor to Hellions as much. Still a good build, but I'm more of a 2-Rax lover on this map.
I love 2-Rax in this map. The little bunker rush you can do.
Yeah, it's a cute little rush. It's pretty strong.
The one where you hide the Marine in that little nook and put a bunker there. As you can see, actually, no wonder Nada picked this. He's 7-1.
Well, he's, you know, this map pretty good for TVZ overall. But we'll see. You know, when it's these cross positions, it's the lead of Terran is much less as if they were closer. You know, if you can walk straight over into that third base, it becomes pretty hard. But that's not going to happen. So we'll see how it goes.
The drone here just checking to see is there a bunker or barracks or anything. Looks like Nada wants to open up with a very similar build, getting the Reactor Hellions.
Yep. And just continuing to scout everywhere with that drone. He just wants to make completely sure that there is not any 2-Rax shenanigans going on, because, as I mentioned before, this is a good map for that. But
yeah, it looks like he's basically using that to his advantage and saying, "No, I'm not going to 2-Rax."
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be overly prepared. I'm just not going to do it.
Now he is going Reactor to Hellions, but could he possibly go for the Reactor to Hellion expand into Banshee like we saw before? I think it's a great choice. I'd actually love to see a similar style on this map, because getting that third as easily as you can on this map actually really lends itself to styles like we just saw Nada do. So the fact that he was doing it on Daybreak, which is a little bit harder map to do it on, definitely could point to that. So we'll have to see about that in a moment.
Ling's moving down now. And, yeah, some Hellions, another command center on the way. A little bit of downtime. Artosis, ask me something.
Faceless.
Yes.
What would you say is the greatest game, aside from StarCraft, ever made?
What kind of game?
The greatest game.
Metal Gear Solid.
Really?
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 1, yeah.
You like that more than Street Fighter?
I like Street Fighter a lot.
But
But
you like it more than any of the Final Fantasies?
well, it's tough, man. You know, Final Fantasy 7's really good. 6 is really good.
You're just going to go with Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I think I have to.
Wow.
They remade it on GameCube, but it's not quite as good. But
Well, we are having the Banshee follow up once again. Nada's going to be a lot more careful this time not to lose his Hellions. If he doesn't lose those 3 Hellions, that actually changes a lot in the flow of the game. He can keep that map control that Leenock took from him oh so quickly before.
yeah, he just doesn't have the luxury of stopping with Hellion production. Which, of course, gives...
And here they come. But can he actually not get surrounded? Yeah, it looks like he's going to go ahead and take out these Lings this time. Leenock not getting quite so lucky as he did the game before. I really am excited to see now what Nada will do with this now that he's held off that original set of Zerglings. In fact, he's adding another factory. It looks like Nada wants... And another command center. Looks like Nada's going to go basically the same exact style he opened with before. And so he's going to have the map control this game unless he messes up in some way. And in fact, Leenock does have a spine at home knowing that, hey, you know, if I don't kill a few Hellions quickly, I'm going to need that spine to rally behind.
Banshee's coming out now, chasing away the Zerglings. And that is a macro hatch, right? Up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going that
So
back
he's going to
right.
stay on 2 base for a little bit. Even though that 3rd base is accessible, he says, no, 2 base, probably going to get mutas again.
Yeah, that's the style he goes about. We talk about this a lot in ZVT. There's a few styles that you can go about to actually take that 3rd base against Hellions, and one of them is this one, the much later one with your macro hatch, a lot of speedlings. That's the style that Leenock almost every single time goes for. Some players, they prefer to go roaches and take it, but Leenock going to go ahead and stay with his standard style. And, that's actually going to be a really good choice because Nada has this ultimate map control build order that he's doing right now. And in fact, following it up exactly like he did before, even getting that blue flame right away.
Well, now we're going to get to see exactly how Nada does his strategy when he's not interrupted.
Yeah. Still out on the map with just a little bit, and notice here he is going to force a cancel on the hatchery. Spire's about to finish, but that, again, this is the beauty of this build. He has the map control, and he is actually just going to force it all to be canceled. So Leenock, his 3rd base is going to be a lot later than he actually wanted, while Nada's 3rd command center is already in orbital. So he's in good shape. As long as he gets his turrets up and has a couple Thors out, he is making a Thor right now, his first one. He's going to be able to block off any Mutalisk harassment. And those Mutas, once again, not going to be as useful, but Leenock is preparing specifically for what Nada's doing by getting quick carapace on his Mutas.
Okay, very nice. He's found the Banshees, and once you find the Banshees with the mutas, the Banshees are not going to get away.
But the Banshees will, because the Hellions went in, and the Mutas have to go back to make sure that the hatchery doesn't have to cancel once again. So he's actually gone ahead and traded some of his Hellions to keep the 2 Banshees alive, and I really like that.
If he eliminates the Thor or Thors, those mutas are going to become so strong again. But he's got to be careful. You Thor volleys and you're dead. Oh!
Does get a Banshee. Good move there by Leenock, but did take a volley to the Mutas. Now, Leenock doing exactly what he should be doing, which is getting that expansion up as quickly as possible, getting a Roach Warren, and preparing to tech up further.
And he's going to turn down these rocks, get an expansion. Looks like the armory +1 attack is almost done.
All right, so Nada right now in really good shape this game. It's so interesting how things can change when you don't do something like lose 3 Hellions early on. He did a great job of delaying bases for Leenock, but Leenock is getting his Hive, a ton of upgrades, and a 4th right now.
Well,
and that's the right thing to do against a very immobile army like what Nada has. His map control's gone for now because of the Mutas, so he has to wait till he has a lot of units to actually move out.
It's smart. I like this kind of play. We got more barracks coming down here, so yeah, this is total deja vu here from game number 1.
Exact same build. It's a good choice, though. Now, Leenock, though, this guy's going to be able to drone like mad. He only has 66 drones right this second, but I do feel like we're going to see that pop way up. He's actually supply capped. There we go. Starts 5 Overlords, realizing, oops, I have a lot of money and a lot of larvae, but not as many drones as I should have at this moment.
Well, he tore open the rocks over here, so Zerg is basically has got more circulation to that extra base and is now taking the top center base. Now, the top center base, it's pretty safe, but it's still more accessible than the other bases that you take early on.
I really, I'm liking this game much more for Nada than last game. You can even see in supplies, they're staying pretty close with ooh, we just had actually Banelings go up to burrow landmine right in front of Nada's base.
I'm really curious to see if that's going to hit.
It was actually exactly outside the vision of his unit closest to it. Really well done by Leenock.
Now, one thing about burrow Banelings is that, honestly, if they don't, even if they hit mech, sometimes the mech doesn't die.
Yeah, the mech.
So you need to follow it up with something else, like the Mutas or Zerglings.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit the clump of Marines that we see come out, but there's actually a lot of Marauders that are going to come out as well. And the thing about that is the Marauders are going to be very helpful, very useful against everything. They're pretty decent against Zerglings, Banelings, Roaches, etc. But when the Broodlords start to actually be made, it's going to be a lot harder for Nada because his anti-air is not exactly what you want to see. He doesn't have Vikings yet. He has some Thors, sure. Thors, they're okay. They can hit Corruptors, which help out with your Vikings, but doesn't have what he needs to deal with a really heavy Broodlord army. So he's going to have to basically go over there and do something before then. And oh my god, 5 queens just get started by Leenock. I like that.
Yeah, I love that too. Well, what does Nada do with his Mutalisks? What is the plan here?
With the Mutas?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the Mutas, I think that those are just going to be used kind of as an anti-air and a slight map control thing right now. Like, look, they're chasing around these Hellions, doing what they can. Maybe they'll catch some, maybe they won't. But they're just going to have to try to kill off Vikings, take extra hits and whatnot. They're too expensive to just throw away at this point, but not as too well defended to truly take any damage from them.
You know, Nada, all right, well, excuse me, it's time for the push.
Oh,
and we actually have even supplies. Oh!
Not the biggest one, but pretty
not
good.
the end of the world.
And now that's going to make Nada use a lot of scans on his way across the map, knowing that Leenock probably has more of those set up. Also, I do want to point out, Nada this time waited till he was max to move out. We're at 190, that's about the same as 200. So really saying, oh, I did a voodoo last game. So waiting a lot longer. We do have broods, a lot of broods out. This timing may not actually be quick enough for Nada.
A lot of this is going to come down to whether or not he can isolate the broods and pick them off. Now, the more clumped together you are against Broodlords, the worse it is.
Yeah, and in fact, if the Broodlords get clumped up, then the Thors suddenly become good against them. But overall, you know, they have pretty high armor, so normally they don't do that well. So we will see.
Well, the Queens have the superior range, too.
So these Queens, they're going to be using a lot of transfusions coming up here. Excited to see how this goes down. We do have 2 more starports on the way for Nada. He's starting a lot of Viking production here. If he can deal with these Broodlords one time without losing his entire army, his army's very powerful. Right now, the anti-air of Leenock is actually very strong to deal with any Vikings. Nada's really going to need a lot of those.
Yeah, he's going to have to make sure those Lings and Infestors are underneath. It's starting to heat up. He's pushing forward. 1 tank goes down. Don't forget that is a planetary.
And now he's trying to hit off some of these Broodlords as best he can. Brucker's coming in from the side, but a lot of Marines are in there. He's going to want to target those best he can. We have a, nice bungle. The Baneling's actually connecting with some of the Marines. A very dirty battle here, but the Queen's doing a good job keeping these Broodlords alive for a very long time. And now the anti-air left for Nada is a Marine over here. That's basically what he's got. Now he's got nothing, so this expansion definitely going to go down. He's going to have to run those siege
No way,
tanks.
yeah. The SCVs are repairing, but he knows better. He's going to ditch it. I'm even surprised he's using the SCVs to repair here.
I think he's just trying to buy some time at this point.
Until he can hold the next base.
Yeah, he's got to get some more anti-air out. He's
and
producing just Marines and Vikings right now.
But it could potentially be saved. The Marine. Okay, never mind. A drop coming in over here.
Well, that is actually a really nice drop. He's got to take out a base somewhere right now, as Leenock is up to a monstrous 5 bases, with Nada falling down to 3 right now. And, well, Nada's starting to get some sort of defense going. A lot of the anti-air looks like it will, in fact, go down. But can he take out the rest of those Vikings? More Corruptors are coming in. But he needs more Marines in here. The Siege Tanks actually hitting them with their splash as the Broodlings attack them.
Beautiful transfusions here. The Corruptor's not going to come over here, wipe out these Vikings. And I have to say, Nada is basically being completely outclassed.
He is. I mean,
this is just brutal.
It's twice the supply, and he's got 4K, 1.5K banks against Nada's nothing.
Yeah, Leenock's maxed out, and even if he lost all these Broodlords or Infestors, whatever else, he can just remake it in a few seconds.
Yes.
The amount of larvae he probably has sitting around is insane.
You know, the style of Nada here, the builds of Nada here, really cool. But it seems like he's prepared using lesser Zergs than Leenock. You know, it's hard to prepare for one of the best players in the world, and it feels like Nada just didn't do that. Leenock got his number in GG. Pretty dominating.
Who is the best Zerg that Nada can actually train with? On OGS?
Well, the thing is,
Xenio?
well, he's not on OGS anymore. He's on
I'm sorry. That's right. He's on Complexity.
But, you know, Nada, anyone in the world will trade with Nada if he tells them to trade with him, because he is that respected. It's that simple. So,
yeah, man.
It just matters who has similar matches to him that wants to do some practice with him. But Leenock really knew to abuse, to get as much economy as possible, and get really quick Broodlords. So, I mean, Nada's build's not going to work against Leenock. Never, ever, 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 ever.
He dealt with that so well.
He had a great
pushed
too.
with a maxed army Still didn't work. So,
well, Leenock knew what he was doing. So it's going to be Leenock, Squirtle, and then we're going to have a little TVT at the bottom. MMA against Nada. Now that could actually be pretty good. Nada, a very good TVTer from StarCraft 1, one of the best of all time. And based upon the strategies he chooses, we'll see if he can actually take out MMA.
It's going to be very interesting. Kind of funny to see, MMA and Nada duking it out in this phase of the tournament. Things are so weird from the way they were with StarCraft 1 and the early parts of StarCraft 2. I remember when Maka was the guy, everybody was like, watch out, Maka. And I'm like, you mean that guy that's so skinny he can fit in a poster tube? They're like, yeah, man. Watch out. When I go home to my house, I check the inside of my poster tube.
Yeah? Make sure he's not there?
Yeah, it's like checking for the boogeyman under the bed.
He went to order a bed, but instead he just ordered a flagpole, slept on it.
He's skinniest guy in esports.
Yeah. He had 3 socks as his
Just
blanket.
like Nada's the most muscular guy in esports.
Yeah. Well. All right. It looks like we're going to go to a break and come back with Leenock versus Squirtle. Should be a really good one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Stay tuned here at the GSL Code S.
Roach. Paquet. Roach. Paquet. Paquet.
Leaves the game for the GG. It's like a broken taillight, cause you can't see behind. It takes someone to pass you and pull you aside.